Hello and welcome everyone to our 48th session of Hello Casa. My name is Michael and today I'm talking to Sebastian Bellosillo from the Philippines in Manila. Sebastian has been in the real estate sector for several years, is now working for a construction company and is very knowledgeable about the real estate sector in Manila. Sebastian, I'm super pumped to have you on the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone. Good day. I'm Sebastian. I'm from the Philippines. I've been in the real estate industry for about 8 years now, since this is my first job after I graduated from college
Mhm.
and from the university. So I've been exposed not only into our local market, but at the same time, I was able to bring our local portfolio through to the international market.
Awesome.
So I was able to go around a little bit much with bringing what projects we have for the companies that I've worked with.
Perfect.
Yeah, currently I'm working with a construction and fit out company here in the Philippines. I was doing business development
Mhm.
for this company, and it was quite interesting because right now I'm currently into the technical side of it, understanding how the products I was selling before be built before it was being sold to the market.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, like I'm here to really walk you through of what can you expect, what will you love, and what will you see here in the Philippines, not just in the real estate side, but Manila and Philippines as a whole.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Awesome. So you just touched upon Manila itself. Give us a quick overview of the city. Me personally, I have never been to Manila. I know you have, for example, directly the Manila Bay. You have some nice weekend getaways. You have Quezon City, which is also part of Manila, but not really. Um, Give me like a little bit of support of how can I understand Manila as a city.
okay, cool. So when it comes to the Philippines, we're like at the center of the bodies of the water. We're at the
Mm-hmm.
center of the Pacific Ocean, so we're not connected with any other country. It's just us alone, the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So when you travel end to end, island to island, all you can see is bodies of water.
Uh-huh.
So here in we only have two weathers. We have the rainy season and the summer. So we are really 100% tropical country. We haven't seen snow here. If you had a cold weather here, it's really unusual, and
Mm-hmm.
we're really happy if we're having
Oh.
cold weather. But Manila is the city center of the Philippines. Um, we are actually separated into three major islands. We call it Luzon,
Mm-hmm.
Visayas, and Mindanao. That's the major three islands which you need. You can fly through, or you can travel through boat or other modes of transportation. But yeah, Manila is in the center. So most of you who's not been here in Manila, um, anything that you see in the internet is not all Manila. I mean, like there's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I encourage everybody to visit Manila. But Manila is well, every country has its own city, and Manila is really a gem in the middle of this island. A usual business district, cars, traffic, people working every day. The everyday lifestyle is different. But what I love about Manila, it's Manila is really vibrant. It
Mm-hmm.
has its characteristics. Manila can really lift someone's spirits up when you're down. You
Mm-hmm.
go out, people will talk to you. Everyone is really hospitable. Everybody loves guests and visitors coming to our country. We're really open, and yeah, I think Manila is really a city to go to,
Mm-hmm.
not only to work or to do business, but at the same time, just for you to have a little breather with your busy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's Manila for me.
Perfect. You just touched upon the Philippines as well, in general, and also the vast. I think you have like 7,000 islands, and I had the privilege to travel to the Philippines a few months ago, and I was just impressed
Cool.
by the beauty of this country, and I will definitely go back. What also was impressive for me that even though you have like mainly have islands, you have the highway which connects like all of the islands down, I think, down to Cebu or even further down, correct?
Oh yeah. When it comes to, I think that's our long term. a little bit struggle when it comes to logistics going around to the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're living in separated islands, so there are like a little bit of challenges when it comes to connecting with each one of the islands that is present here in the Philippines. But I think as of now, Philippines is part of the list of the fastest growing countries in the world. I think we're really doing our best to really connect our ports, our modes of transportation around the city. And at the same time, there's a lot of current infrastructure that has been going on around the city. It's really crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's really a sign of growth, economic growth, stability, and at the same time, other countries in collaboration or joint venture projects with them is really a good starting point that these countries are really believing in us, that this country is really going more and more as the years go by.
Mm-hmm. Can you name those countries? Like, what for? Are there any specific collaboration projects right now going on with other countries?
Well, we got for how many years? There's a lot of different country presence here in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, US is one,
Mm-hmm.
but as of the moment, the current players that help us grow ports will be China is our partner with some of our infrastructures. Also, Japan is helping us with some of our projects when it comes to transportation. We will be having hopefully soon. Uh, 5 or 6 years from now, we'll be having our first um, underground train that'll be physically present here in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more, I think, ongoing. There's opening of more international airports, not only in the city center, but mostly outside the provinces, so that people doesn't need to travel, go in and out of the city. Also to lessen traffic and people going into the city.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, when it comes to connection logistics, we're partnering with China, doing most of our public ports and terminals for easier logistics for around the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Apart from that, you also I read that you also call yourself, or you're being called by Mexico as the cousin of Mexico. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, us. We're a little bit alike when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
them. Like not only physically, maybe yes, but like Philippines has been under the Spanish realm for very very long,
Yeah.
so that most of our traditions and most of our words, and I think my surname talks about it. It's not
Absolutely.
really
Yes.
100%, it's a little bit Spanish and influence. Most of our ways, the celebrations, the feasts that we have here in the Philippines are mostly about it. Our Tagalog words, our languages are also influenced by it, really, a lot of it, actually.
Okay, perfect. Great. Now, thank you so much for the overview of the Philippines. That helped a lot to me. Concerning the Manila now a little bit, walk us through how it's structured. Like, give me an overview about neighborhoods, about maybe also the landscape. What can I do during the weekends? Why do you like it, and what are there things to do?
Okay, cool. To be honest, when you research Manila and Manila itself, one thing will be showing up in your screens. It would be a lot of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But as of the moment, we got a lot of traffic because I think there's a lot of infrastructure construction going on
Mm-hmm.
right now. And I think it will be better in the next 5 to 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
since I think we're just really coping up with the years that we lost this progress of ours. I think we're only stepping our gas to really push forward and to really change. But with Manila, on the current weekends, actually, Manila is really strategic in the middle, since what I mentioned previously, that end to end of our islands is that bodies of water. So from Manila, usual weekend, if you're really into driving, you could go out to the city about 2 to 3 hours drive. You could go to the beach on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. I think that's one of our best things that we could offer. That's
Mm-hmm.
why most of our tourists go to Manila because of our beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's really incomparable. I've been around, and I think Manila still got it, and the Philippines still got it, the best beaches.
Hmm.
On a normal weekend, we have a lot of good food stops here. We're a little bit, our food selections is a little bit westernized,
Hmm.
but I think we got a lot more of a Southeast Asian feel.
Hmm.
You could also have most of our central business districts are really equipped with good pubs and clubs that you can walk through, making friends. And I think living in Manila is really um, different. It's really eye opener. I think we consider our country really open.
Hmm.
Aside from us being a religious country, I think we're still open in some other ways. But yeah, I think Manila in total is really a different place. I think most of my friends not living here, I always ask them to once in their life visit this place. I
Hmm.
mean, like I'm always a tour guide, so it will be a good starting point for them. Also, my previous clients that who's not been in Manila, I encourage them to be here so that they'll be like really really confident about their future investments here in the Philippines.
Okay, perfect. Um, you already directly mentioned future investments. I think it's a great segue to investing or also just buying real estate, entire real estate topic. Tell us a little about maybe about neighborhoods on neighborhood segmentation of
Mhm.
Manila. How is it segmented? How is it divided? What are maybe super expensive neighborhoods? What are less expensive neighborhoods? And also considering the projects you are just talking about, maybe some emerging neighborhoods which will be reshaped by 1% because of new infrastructure projects.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So here, in the Philippines, for the past years, we've been focusing on really building projects in the central business district
Hmm.
because we believe that the jobs are really located in the CD, in the CBDs or in the business district, right?
Hmm.
So since as the years go by, I mean, like the population rise up, traffic jams are in there. So mostly real estate developers right now are really focusing on building business districts or city centers outside the existing ones. Meaning, we're really looking at putting city centers in the provinces so
Hmm.
that people from there doesn't need to go to Manila for them to look for a job. But here in Manila, it's currently segmented into different area. We have, like what you mentioned, we have Quezon City, we have Makati City, we have Taguig, which includes Bonifacio Global City and the likes. We have the old Metro Manila area, which is like main Metro Manila. But I think it with with concerning to the properties, I think anything closer to the central business district will cost you more.
Hmm.
So, and this city, Quezon City, is one of the business districts. We're building one closer to that center. We have Makati Central Business District. We got Bonifacio Global Business District also. Manila is also building one. So I think Manila is getting really diverse when it comes to neighborhood segmentation. It's a matter only of which do you prefer? Because it each neighborhood has its own characteristics.
Hmm.
Um, Bonifacio Global City is a young professional go-to moving around. I mean, like it's for people who really moves on a fast pace.
Hmm.
Um, Quezon City is also a CBD, but it's more of a landed houses, family-oriented neighborhood,
Hmm.
a little bit of relax on the weekend. Makati City is a little bit of purely, for me, a little bit of purely commercial. So
Hmm.
on a weekend, you don't see much people there
Hmm.
because it's off on a weekend, but you still got residential places there. Yeah, so it's a matter of where do you want to stay?
Yeah.
What do you feel? You know, what is your everyday routine? How do you want your day to be? That's why I always encourage most of my clients and investors to go here and to have a feel. You
Hmm.
know, it's really hard to, you know, to sell or promote something that your clients cannot understand fully.
Yeah.
So I really want them to really be here and then see because like some of my clients really they wanted here, but at the same time when they come here they change their mind
Yeah.
and transfer it to a different one because it's a different feel, it's a different
Absolutely.
thing
Absolutely.
here. Correct.
Um, Concerning areas or area, because I expect Manila to be, as you say, like it's a metropolis. It's packed with people.
True.
Areas with is it more common to live in apartment buildings, therefore, or apartments, or is it also do you also get like semi-detached houses or detached houses with a garden and those things? I'm quite sure that you get it, but is it also common? And if so, where do you find those spaces the most?
Okay, cool. So for the condominiums, we call it condominiums here or apartments.
Hmm.
Mostly you can see it in the central business district
Hmm.
here in the city center. So that's the only option because lands in the central business district will cost you a lot.
Hmm.
So you cannot see much of landed houses here. So most of the developers really maximize spaces by building vertical
Hmm.
developments that could cater more to people. But there are also places like if you going to the south, we have a development we call New Valley City, or we call it a little bit of Santa Rosa area.
Hmm.
That area is also a CBD area, not really a CBD, but they're also commercial. We've been building a lot of commercial spaces for the businesses to go there and provide jobs. But that area is catering to mostly residential landed houses, single detached or detached houses. You could buy lots there. So that's a little bit you travel outside the city for about 20,
Hmm.
30 minutes outside the city.
Hmm.
That's the ideal travel time.
That's fine.
Um, but
That's
also, since sorry, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. That doesn't sound like a lot of commuting. That's quite average.
yeah, true, true. And I think the good thing about it, since these developers are promoting you to live outside the city, they are also the ones partnering with the local government to improve transportation for these
Hmm.
people, for them to get easily from city going home, from home going to the city, vice versa. So yeah, but I think with the current surges in the prices of apartments here in the Philippines. I think there's an emerging business currently working here in Manila. I think we're kind of new to it. It's been years running here, but I think it's not new with some of the countries since I think it was being offered here. We're currently looking at co-living spaces
Hmm.
that is being built around the city, which will provide spaces for young professionals like me to
Hmm.
afford and live near to their work so that it ease up the traffic condition, hopefully, and also lessen travel time because we want to value everyone's time. Exactly.
Tell me more about it. So, you're providing co-living spaces, something like WeWork, very similar. Tell me more about exactly how that works and how your business works.
Cool. Mostly our co-living spaces are also co-working spaces. I think this establishment also goes with a co-working space for
Hmm.
their tenants, but also we only have a purely co-working spaces for emerging businesses and markets. Since Manila is really exploring on different ideas, I think we're really what do you call it, supporting small businesses that wanted to emerge in the market by giving them enough working spaces for them to collaborate with this group of people. I think that's the goal of each co-working spaces that I've been to here in the Philippines. When it comes to co-living spaces, it's mostly um, there are major developers that has been doing it. We got SMDC, we got Ayala Land, and we got the others that has been promoting co-living spaces for young professionals, which is affordable at the
Hmm.
same time, really collaborative spaces. I think we're really doing really good when it comes to our co-working spaces, and and I think this spaces really provides a lot of efficiency to young professionals and millennials that is currently working with big companies right now.
Yeah. Those companies, how do they accept it, or is it? Where do you see right now the market from the company's side? Do you see that companies more and more are allowing their employees to work from home or from a co-working space, or do I maybe not get it correctly? And they say even before we invest in our own office, we all get together and work from that co-working space together. How does that work from the company's perspective?
Okay, cool. There's a lot of since Manila has been a hub for multinational companies. Also, if you're familiar with BPO or business process
Yeah,
outsourcing companies, we've been a top hub for them.
yeah,
So I think this BPO companies has really been trying to have an agile workplace.
hmm,
They're trying to solve how their workers be in a conducive and at the same time less hassle environment. So
hmm,
I think some of these companies are trying to create a work from home.
hmm,
They're trying to do work from home, trying to see if it works for them. By what I mean with working from home is they partner with co-working spaces that is near in that area. For example,
hmm.
if your headquarters is located in BGC and most of your population of employees is living in Quezon City, to be honest, with the traffic that we're having right now, you'll be traveling from Quezon City to BGC, which is only about 5 kilometers. You'll be traveling for about 2 hours, which is too
Okay,
much,
yeah,
right? So really, they're really trying to cope up with the changes, not only with the current changes, but also with the situational changes that is really happening in Manila. And also, when it comes to emerging companies, yes, they some of the companies are really starting to go for co-working spaces for about 2 years, 3 years, and when they're stable, they're gonna go out and lease their own spaces.
got it, got
So
it.
that's
Makes total sense. And then you are even already on the topic on like the war on talent, like making sure that you're getting like employees, but you also have
exactly.
to be like a very attractive employer, saying okay, if you want to work for us, you don't need, or if you want to work for us, you don't need to travel like 2 hours a day. We offer you the space, and it's a win-win situation because the employer gets a very good talent pool, and
Yeah.
the employee has a better work-life balance. Okay, makes total sense. So you are creating those workplaces. Um, Give me a little bit more detail on how that works and what you offer exactly.
Oh, okay. So my current company right now is we're servicing office fit outs and design
Hmm.
for mostly our portfolio consists of BPO offices. So
Okay.
as time goes by, we can really see the changes in the workplace. The design, it's more playful, it's more open, it's not the usual cubicle type setups right now. I mean, like, it's more collaborative. Companies right now are really eyeing on a free, open spaces for their workers, not for them to feel that they're being locked down in an office, but really they wanted to juice out something from their head. So they're giving up
Yeah.
a lot of open spaces. So also me working in the business development side, we're really looking at how our services really can cope up to these changes, you know.
Hmm.
So we're also doing some design research. The current company, there are also big multinational companies who does open workspaces for their clients. So we're really trying to collaborate with them,
Hmm.
and at the same time and um, hopefully to change our services. So that's the time that we go in. We go in at the moment that these companies wanted to change their workplaces. So we go and design new workplaces, propose it to them, and hopefully they get our service.
Got it, got it. So that means your solution is not a one fits all solution. You really go and say, okay, this customer would like to have like a new design, and then you really discuss with the customer and stuff, and you see the trend that it goes toward more towards like Google like office spaces,
Exactly.
because again, the employers want to attract new talent, and right now the new generation is more or less like interested in that. Okay, got it. Okay, okay, makes how is that? How do you see, let's say, from a business development perspective, how do you see the market there? Do you see a lot of incumbents wanting also to change from an existing office to a co-working office to offer that? Or do you see, okay, there are, as you say, like BPO companies who enter the market and say, okay, we need a new office. We right now at the moment we are not there yet to really have a lease for, I don't know, like several years, we first want to go for a co-working space.
Oh,
Where do you see right now like the market there?
okay. Here in the Philippines, I think everyone else is currently adapting to the changes that we're having. I think the changes in the work areas also goes through the changes of the workers or the employees,
Mhm.
since everyone else is dealing with the millennial type of employees. I think it also goes with them on the business development perspective. This millennials in the workplace really wanted a really collaborative, open spaces, a playful spaces,
Mhm.
and this spaces that could provide them, if good, is like they could provide anything that they need. So I
Mhm.
think this changes and enhancements in the workplaces, yes, is also defined by the current workers that we are having. I mean, like workers are getting younger. I mean, like workers are getting younger and younger, but the company is getting older. So I think we need to meet halfway. So most of the offices right now that is being locked up a little bit on their time on the traditional work office spaces, don't get me wrong, there's still traditional office spaces, but I think everyone else is gearing towards into the collaborative open working, or we call it open desking spaces.
Mhm.
You visit a lot of offices here, it's really playful, it's really open. It feels that you're home, feels that you're in your own sofa, that kind of level thing, which is on my side, on the business development side. I need to know how it goes there.
Mhm.
You know, how can we offer this? How can our services be the solutions to our clients? I mean, like, I just don't want to just give a normal service. We wanted to give solutions because, like, this company, we're on the professional side. So I want the companies that we're talking to really has an eye opener. What is lacking? What do they need? Or
Mhm.
maybe we can get something from them as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that means that you also just making makeovers of existing office space
Exactly.
and companies
Sure.
are quite. That would be obviously interesting if you have like then data of attrition of the employees before and after, and then you can also use that and say, hey, we changed this office space before I don't know, like 2 years ago, the attrition was within 2 years like XYZ, and now the last 2 years after the makeover, the attrition has like I don't know has been much lower than before, and
Correct.
I guess attrition will definitely have an impact.
Yeah.
Perfect. Um, Going a little bit back to Manila and the neighborhoods there, can you give me a little bit an overview of also the neighborhood prices and maybe an idea, okay, what can I expect on square meter prices per neighborhood?
Cool. Okay.
So that we have like more or less like an idea.
Okay, cool. Um, well, the prices have been changing quite drastically for the next for the years
Mhm.
since I started my job working in the real estate industry. I mean, I started at about, to be honest, way back 8 years ago, we started about $1,500 per square meters
Mhm.
of apartment in the central business district.
Mhm.
That's about 1,500 is like 75, 80,000 pesos.
Mhm.
But really, to be honest, the current market is about 4,000 US dollars per square meter. So that's about 200,000 if you will be um, buying a property or an apartment in the central business district.
Mhm.
So that is almost about 200 or 150% increase from the previous of about 7 years ago.
Mhm.
So I think it attracted more and more investors as the years go by. And I think the presence of different nationalities and multinational companies that has been present here in the Philippines had made a huge impact in the changes of our property prices. Just to share with you, the biggest player that we have right now are Pogo, or it's a Philippine online gaming
Mhm.
companies that has been onshore since we have partnership with since our government has partnership with China. So um, this kind of businesses improved the demands on our real estate. It can be commercial. The vacancy rates went down because they need a lot of commercial spaces. In line with the commercial spaces, all of these people will be flying into the Philippines, so they need more residential places. So I think it really drives our real estate prices really, really crazy. The average amount for our normal studio, which is about 25 square meters. That's a normal city center studio. Mm, we're looking at about 100,000 US dollars
Hmm.
for
Okay.
25 square meters. Yeah. I think, but Johannes, it started at the studio prices here started mm, about we started at 40,000
Hmm.
7 years ago.
Hmm.
Shoot up almost 110%
Wow.
increase. We're looking at 100,000 as of the moment. And to be honest, we're really trying to control it because we don't want to deal with it later on.
Yeah.
But like yeah, city center properties right now cost about $100,000. Um,
How much is the rent then for such an apartment?
to be honest, we're looking at about we're looking at 1% of the total contract value. So we're looking at about um
So the 1%.
we're looking at,
So the one
sorry,
percent is the monthly rate or the yearly
per
the
square meter rate.
okay, okay,
Yeah, so we're
interesting.
looking for example, you're renting out about 25 square meter studio apartment, right?
Yeah,
Looking at $20 per square.
yeah.
So 20 will be about 500 US dollars per month.
Okay, got it. And that's more or less like all inclusive, like fully loaded, or do I need
Yeah,
to do I need
it
to
can
pay?
be it can be fully furnished.
Yeah,
You could just bring your clothes with you,
yeah,
or sometimes it could be lesser value, but you need to provide anything inside the unit.
got it.
And it depends. Yes,
And administration costs and electricity and
it's outside the bill.
okay, got it. Okay, so that goes on top, just to get an idea.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
got it. So those are the prices for like an average apartment
Yes.
for Manila and Quezon City. Um,
Yes.
how and I guess like you can get everything from very high to very low in prices.
Correct.
Like okay, got it.
Correct.
You just mentioned the investments from different countries. How do you see that, and how also do Philippines see the huge investment coming or being poured from? I think especially China is
Yeah.
investing a lot in the Philippines. What's your opinion about it, and where do you also see the tendencies going towards or concerning this topic?
Okay. Since the good thing about me is I was able to do international sales, so I was able to go around
Hmm.
and meet other different investors and different practitioners in the real estate and the different countries. So I was able to really compare and see the difference when it comes to each and every country. And I think, to be honest, since I've been around a little bit, uh, every country has a Chinese development going on in
Hmm.
their country. And I think Philippines has a lot more.
Hmm.
But I think when it comes to residential, I think we're really getting quite competitive with the prices. Every time I introduce our local prices here, it's the people or the investors that I've been talking to, they were like, "Oh, it's really cheap." I think, yeah, I mean, like, we are a key player when it comes to selling. The investment amount is really low versus the return of investment after 3 to 5 years.
Hmm.
So I'm really confident with the numbers that we are currently delivering. But at the same time, you need to choose the right developer and the right area and the location for your property
Hmm.
for it to really deliver the numbers, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think when it comes to or comparing it to the other countries, um, really competitive
Okay.
when it comes to our prices, and I think we're really just starting to heat up.
Mhm.
our economic status. So I think we got a lot more spaces and window for us to really push forward with our investment capacity as a country.
Got it, got it. How do you see, maybe there's also obviously there's always some repercussions concerning, investment being put in from different countries. Are people from or less privileged people from less, let's say, poorer segments, um, are they being squeezed out, or does the government give them opportunity to move somewhere else, or do they have to move? Are they even getting kicked out? How does that work? Where do you see the situation there?
Oh, okay. Here, the good thing about the Philippines is our government mandated all developers
Hmm.
to have a socialized housing projects, meaning
Okay.
these are all affordable housing projects for our less privileged individuals living in this country,
Hmm.
so that we can balance it out. I mean, like for sure, these people earning minimum wages cannot afford a good apartment in the central business district.
Hmm.
That's why the government mandated our developers to really have socialized housing projects that these people can afford and for them to own
Okay.
also.
So that means each project and each investor or investment company or construction company or whoever the holding is, then also needs to make sure that there's a social project and they have to build it. Okay, interesting. Okay. Do you have any experience concerning you, because you're very exposed to international trade and international investment? If like for example one person from a different country is listening to it and says, okay, that might be an interesting opportunity. I'm more or less like interested in investing in Manila or in the Philippines stuff. Is it possible as a foreigner to buy properties and to buy real estate?
Okay, so here, all condominiums and apartment foreigners can own 100% of the property, which is like a lifetime ownership.
Mhm.
The ownership that we only have here is we do have some leasehold ownership, but most of our properties for sale are all lifetime or freehold ownership. So most of our foreign investors here, they own their properties 100%.
Okay.
But the restrictions are they cannot own land.
Hmm. Okay, so that
That's
means I can easily buy a condo or a
yes,
condominium.
yes, correct.
Okay, can I also buy a house then, or without the land? Is that possible?
Well, there are houses we have down. It depends on the contract
Okay.
that is being the contract of the property.
Hmm.
As long as it's a condominium contract, yes, you can own it.
Hmm.
But if it's a title certificate contract, foreigners cannot own it. And also, when it comes to condominium properties, we can only sell 40% of the total building to foreigners. So that's the foreigner capacity. So if it's like above
Got
40%, we
it.
cannot sell anything to you.
Okay, so that speaks again a lot for a condominium because that's easier. Okay, got it. One final question because I know you have to run. One final question. Um, is it easy to or how would be then the buying process be? So let's say I'm interested. I would like to buy real estate. Quick. I just then contact you, and then we go to the notary, and then we do this all the filings and all the signings. How does that work, more or less?
Okay, cool. As an investor or as a client, it will be really easy for you to acquire a property in the Philippines. But acquiring it easily goes with acquiring it with a good agent
Hmm.
and with a good property consultant. So I think you could message me. I could lead you to the right persons to contact with or to negotiate with. But yeah, just to give you an overview, we ask for minimal requirements here. Each and every developer here in the Philippines always has their back office to really back you up with anything that you need. So
Hmm.
it will be a really hassle-free acquisition for you. And mostly all of the developers here, that is our promise to our clients and investors. It will be a hassle investment for you, but at the same time, we have a good returns for your investment as well.
Perfect, awesome. I really appreciate it. I thank you a lot for the interview, and I know I really appreciate especially your time. how can people contact you? Can they send you a message? Do you have a website, LinkedIn, or maybe even a Hello Casa profile?
Oh yeah. I could post my LinkedIn profile, also my email address if you have some inquiries or clarifications when it comes to Philippine real estate. If you're looking at other furthermore businesses here in the Philippines, you can let me know. I could hook you up or connect you with the right
Perfect.
persons here. And yeah, I think thank you so much for this interview as
No,
well.
Sebastian, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Super interesting. I learned a lot about real estate, the Philippines. I'm always happy to talk with people from the Philippines. It's always nice people, and I really like to interact with you. Thank you so much for the overview of the Philippines, about the overview of Manila, about the entire real estate sector. Super interesting as well. About I think the trends which you see right now in Manila, the transformation also along the co-working spaces, and it's interesting to see that you help like companies both existing and also new companies in Manila getting a foothold in new office spaces and also modern office spaces in Manila. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Have a nice day,
Thank
and we
you.
talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.